Well, hello, Young and the Restless daily recap fans. Today's daily recap for the Young and the Restless is Tuesday, September the 6th. Tuesday, September the 6th. Now, today's episode, we got a replacement Amani. Um, so maybe the actual actress is ill right now, but we do have a replacement who was talking to Nate. Although I'm surprised they didn't get someone a little younger, but I'm not going to critique replacements because they're not going to be here very long. Yeah, she's the stand-in, and she did a good acting job as for her scenes. One thing that is making me completely dislike Nate. Nate is so willing to listen to something that's going to feed his ego. Amani telling him, you need to do something like you did for the launch, but bigger. Nate obviously doesn't have a business brain in his head because they are still having backlash over what he did at the launch. They did not have 50 podcasts, nor do they have 50 podcasts. They're nowhere near 50 podcasts. What do they have? Two? And Elena hasn't started hers yet. And Billy stopped his. So I'm sorry, do they have zero? But he said 50. None of that has come to pass. And Devon has brought that up that we haven't been able to deliver on that. So she goes, you were such a success. No, he wasn't a success. The only successful thing that happened is it drove a bigger wedge between him and Devon, and that's exactly what she wants. Except to what end? I don't understand what Amani's end game is. Because if Nate gets fired from Chancellor Winters, the only thing he can do is something in the medical field. And guess what? She has nothing to do with that. She wouldn't be able to pop in and see him and talk to him and advise him in any capacity. She's not even giving him good lawyer advice. That is what's so incredible to me. But yet he's just looking at her and like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, what should I do? What could be big? Oh my goodness. And then when because Devon's out of town, Nate's going to move fast and hopefully crashes and burns miserably. And Lily will have to be the one to put the smack down. And Lily will have to be the one. I listened to that whole conversation and I said, you gotta be kidding me. First thing he wants to do is get her out of there when he saw she was back in town. Have you eaten? Okay, look, I'm buying you. Let's go. Let's go. So Lily calls Elena in and talks to her, candidly. And Elena does tell Lily how Nate really feels, and Lily was like, she really didn't know he felt that completely that way. And Elena said, I told him he needs to walk away and go back to medicine. And Lily's like, no, you didn't. And she's like, yeah, I did. He's miserable. You can't live like that on a day-to-day basis miserably. My whole thing is this. Nate seems to be able to use his hand pretty darn good. You don't see it not moving. Okay. Devon should devote some serious money into sending Nate to Switzerland. That's where they seem to send everybody for the miracle treatments. Send Nate to Switzerland, have a ultra specialist in laser technology repair the nerves in Nate's hands, because Nate's hands are not that unusable whatsoever. Okay. And now that time has gone by, let's get this situation corrected. We could even put some little bionics in there. Look, now we got some nanotechnology. We could do a whole lot now. And with millions behind it, Nate's bad hand will be better than the good hand. Let's get him out of this corporate world and back into medicine. That's where Nate belongs. Because I'm telling you, I'm sick of seeing him here. Oh, wow. So, anyway, let's go on. We have Tessa and Mariah. They're talking about their options. They're talking about what we're going to do, how we're going to proceed, and they've decided on approaching Christine to see if she would be their adoption advocate. Well, here's the thought. A whole year has gone by because Dominic's year birthday was this past week, right? Mariah, get pregnant again. The doctor told you you only needed to wait a year, but guess what? Mariah didn't suffer like serious damage during that childbirth whatsoever. So women really don't have to wait a year before having another baby. They really don't. But okay, in her case, maybe she needed to wait a year. Okay, it's been a year. See, before Mariah would have gotten pregnant right away, but the doctor said no, a year. So that's when she was trying to pressure Tessa into getting pregnant. And Tessa's like, no, 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 I'm not ready for that. No. Okay. So now, Mariah, get pregnant again. You and Tessa go to a sperm bank and select a donor. Select a donor. That's all you got to do. Okay. Now, Mariah's carrying she and Tessa's child. No adoption needed. No attorneys needed. You're good to go. And it is your physical child that cannot be taken away from you in 6 months in case of adoption, or some states a year, that the birth mother has an opportunity to change it. You don't have to go through none of that. Have your own kid. See, and here's the thing. She'll go to have her own child. They'll select a candidate, and unbeknownst to them, at some point Kyle would have put some sperm in a sperm bank and the kid is going to be Kyle's, but that's another story. That's funny because realistically Kyle has not done that. He wouldn't have done it anonymously anyway, but it's going to be, if they do go the sperm route, there'll be some story twist to that sperm route. Definitely, it'll end up being Chance's kid. Because maybe Chance put some sperm in the sperm bank and oops, now Chance actually will have a child of his own if he and Abby don't have one. But that's, what, that's my soap opera writing future predictions there. But no, have your own kid, Mariah. It's been a year. You could do it. You love being pregnant. Tessa loved doting over you. Now she'll be doting over you with your own child. So then we had some scenes with, a scene with Adam going to see Victor, telling Victor he's going to work for Jack. Victor, of course, is upset about that. Victor's pissed off that Adam is doing it to spite him. And Adam's saying, I'm doing it for, just to break the cycle, Dad. Seriously. But see, Adam, he's still so manipulative. He goes there and he says, I now understand my mother as to why she did not want me raised around you, because of the way you are. And Victor says, and I never agreed with that, but that was your mother's wishes. I never wanted, you to be raised out there and not with the new, not with our family. That's why the divide is happening now. And so Adam said, no, she knew, and that's why she had raised me a Wilson, and that's why she had no contact with you. There's some kind of noise in the outside. Ignore that kind of vibration thing going on. And then he says, and I understand it, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. I am going to cut off, distance myself, and just go on with my life because it's just this vicious cycle with you and what you do, Dad. And he's like, no, you choose to do. Victor got Victorish, belligerent, and that's you. You go on and get out of here. Victor was Victor, hit a sore spot, hit a rough patch. So Adam left happy with what he did, but defeated. Deep down, that young man, that he's not even a young man. That man is like a child and wants his father's love, where that Victor Adam relationship go. He just does. And he doesn't get what he wants or in the manner he feels he wants the love. And he just is never happy, never ever happy. So, they left that there. And then we had, let's see, Billy sees Chelsea in the park. And Billy tries to convince Chelsea, once again, why I don't know, to come back to the podcast. And she goes, you coming back with me? And he's like, no, Chelsea, I'm definitely not, Oh, so you still trying to do that corporate thing. And Chelsea's like, I honestly don't know where I'm going. I don't know what's my next move, what's my next chapter. I have to figure myself out, but doing that podcast solo is not it. Because I'm thinking, yeah, because you had designs on Billy. And then she brought up, so look, what about Johnny and Connor? And he's like, this is not a good time for Victoria to approach that at all, at all. And I'm in agreement with that. And she goes, no, I understand she's going through a lot, but it's like, no, you don't understand. Anytime you say, I understand something, and then you proceeded with a but, you're getting ready to wipe out everything you said, right? But, they still should not. He says, here's what I'll do, Chelsea. I will arrange a play date with Johnny, between Johnny and Connor, but as cousins. There will be no conversation to anything else. None. And she's like, oh, I can agree with that. Okay, that'll work. That's a start. So we shall see where that goes. So then Billy goes to Lily, and because Lily called him, she was calling him to tell him what Elena had said to her, but it went to voicemail. So he comes in and he goes, sorry I missed your call. After my out of the office meeting, I went to the park, ran into Chelsea. And Lily goes, Chelsea, were there any other miscommunications? And he goes, no, never. And he said, he was trying to convince her to come back to the podcast, but she was talking to her about the podcast. And Lily goes, did you change your mind? Are you going to go back to the podcast? And he goes, no, I was trying to get Chelsea to do it. He says, I made a commitment as your COO, and I'm going to honor that commitment. So they talk, and then they end up hugging. And I tell you, Houston, we have a problem. This is classic Billy Abbott. You see the look on his face? Billy is not happy. Billy does not want to do that. Yes, Billy loves Lily, but Billy does not love that job, nor is that's the only thing Chelsea was right, is that's not him. Never has been Billy Abbott. And it's not going to be Billy Abbott now. He is going to actually mess up the COO position and ruin his relationship with Lily, instead of being completely honest. Wow. but Billy is not happy, and she thinks she doesn't know that that's what his face is looking like on the side of her head. She doesn't know that at all. I said, "Uh-oh, here we go. Something's coming down the line." Billy, because he's unfulfilled and he's unhappy, and when that happens, Billy Abbott makes horrible choices. So then we have Faith leaving for college, little tearful moment between Mariah, Tessa, Sharon's crying off and on. Nick wants to cry but doesn't. They say their goodbyes. So they do. They head out the door, taking Faith off to college. She's gonna be gone for a while. She's gonna come back older. But there's really no storyline for Faith. She and Moses are still together. Moses and his mother are already on campus, so she can't wait to get there. Um, so that was that scene. And then before we got to that, because Nick and Sharon were off to take Faith, earlier that day, Nick goes by to see Nikki. And they finished the conversation, and he felt better talking to his mother. And this was yesterday's episode. But we shall see where he goes. Nikki does not constitute professional help. So we shall see where that goes with Nick, But anyway, that pretty much wraps it up for today's episode of The Young and the Restless. I have one comment in Comment Corner. This is from Libby. And then Libby is talking about yesterday's episode. I'm tired of all the therapy moments between the characters. Now Nikki is a counselor. I know, huh? Fixing tea and dispensing ancient wisdom. And then she says, cute scene with the mix up of the picnic baskets. Reminds me of Chance and Abby's honeymoon goof. And then she talks about, and they're going to have a baby too. Oh, she thinks they're going to have a baby too. Yeah, that's coming. That's definitely going to come. She's glad Jack put his foot down with Diane. And Diane can change all she wants, but doesn't make incumbent on everyone else to forgive her. Exactly. Because you did some horrible things, and people don't have to forgive you. And then it says, so what's all the Marchetti people doing in the Jabot office space? Well, believe it or not, Jabot has a whole lot of floors in that building. And remember, even Finmore's is in the Jabot building, which is why Lauren used to come in and out a lot. They should be on different floors, but they are in the same building. So we don't know what level they decided to put the Marchetti offices, versus the Jabot offices. So they can go in and out. It's just, look, does anybody work in their own office space? And Jack's office should not be the hub for the Marchetti employees. That should be Kyle's CEO office, right? Phyllis, Diane, even Summer, all of them should be reporting to Kyle in Kyle's office. Kyle is the only one, really, that should be reporting to Jack. Kyle and Lauren for Finmore's and Marchetti. They're the only ones that really should have, just the open communication with Jack. So yeah, they are definitely mixing in everybody, to come see Jack. And then it says it was, Libby also says it was an adorable scene between Jack and Phyllis. It's good to see him treating her respectfully again, and it better stay that way, because him and Phyllis has been friends much longer than ever than him and Diane. So Jack was floundering, and the writers had him floundering way too much. And you know what, Jack, you can forgive her all you want, but still remember your friendships. Jack and Nikki have been friends for decades, So Jack stays friends with his ex-wives. Now, Diane was never an ex-wife of Jack. She was an ex-wife of Victor. So yeah, no. Diane is roadkill. Diane is stolen sperm or switched sperm baby mama. That's all Diane is. And troublemaker baby mama uh, for for everything. You know, blew up everything from taking your child multiple times. You never knew where the boy was. That was Diane. Okay, holding him hostage. That's Diane. So anyway, that is the daily recap for The Young and the Restless. I will be back tomorrow on Wednesday for another Young and the Restless daily recap.